The other day we talked about twisting round bar and how boring it was to just twist a round bar. So we took a look at changing the surface of the round bar just subtly, or you could change it a lot, and then twisting it. And I asked for some ideas, and I got lots of ideas. The number one suggestion involves some sort of chiseling or fullering or punching or something lengthwise. So I think what we will do is we will start with a piece of our round bar and we will run a lengthwise chisel groove, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever you want. I'll probably do 3 or 4. 3 might be interesting. I've never done a 3 chiseled type bar, so if I can get it even, that might be an interesting effect. This is going to be a little bit tough to do by myself at the anvil because you have to hold the bar, you have to keep the round bar from moving around, you have to hold the chisel, and you have to strike it with a hammer. So we're going to have to figure that out. Typically I would do something like this at the treadle hammer where I can hold a handle chisel and chisel the bar. But I think we can figure out how to do it at the anvil, and we're going to find out. I think I have a plan that'll work here. It may not work as well as I'd like. We may not be able to chisel as much bar as I might normally do for sample twist, but if we're really careful, I think we can make this work. Seems to be working pretty well. The advantage of having an assortment of bottom swedges in the shop, make sure you're chiseling over the swedge or it's going to flip up on you. It also wants to rotate just a little bit because I'm probably not perfectly vertical in my chisel. I think I would like a deeper line. It'd be worth experimenting with different line weights. But I think ultimately I want to take another pass at that. But there's a first line. Now I think I'm going to do my 3 lines that deep first, and then I'll go through and deepen each of them in succession again. That'll help keep things from getting all washed out. So now I have to just judge what a perfect triangle looks like, and I probably won't get it. If this was for a finished project and it really mattered, you might need to lay out some guidelines cold and use a protractor on the end of it or some other way of doing that, but this is just a test or a sample or screwing around, whatever you want to call it. So there are 2 lines. First line came out a little bit deeper, but we'll deepen the second one. Try and figure out where my 3rd line goes exactly. Trying to go just a little deeper on this one and maybe get full depth in this one heat. Well, I got kind of off. That one's starting to look like a twist already. It's a problem with trying to get more aggressive. But it'll still give us the general idea of what this might look like. So we now have 3 lengthwise twists, pretty much evenly spread. I'm going to try and deepen the first 2 a little bit more. Clean up the line 3 a little bit, and then we'll go back to line 2. And this gets more critical on a finished project to try and keep these lines even and proper depth. For a concept piece, it's not really as important. This is where a nice cold layout, or a nice layout done cold and lightly chiseled in along a crisp mark that you can see, chocolate mark or pencil mark, scribe mark, would really pay off. Okay, we got 3 relatively deep lines. Let's get it hot and twisted. The other ones we did 1.5 turns, so I'm just going to do that. It does pay to look at it and see. Cheap pipe wrench, twisting wrenches, twisting itself off there. But it does pay to watch it and see what it really looks like before you go too far or stop too soon. Or I kind of like that. Very nice effect. It might not look much different in 4 lines. In fact, you might not have to twist it as much to make it look exactly the same with 4 lines. But it's worth trying. Now, there were lots of different chisel possibilities, some requests for some kind of a pineapple twist variation, and I think we'll look at some of those in the future. But we'll move on to another widely requested version, and that was to forge it into a triangle. And like our octagon, that I didn't go for perfectly crisp corners, I'm not going to go for perfectly crisp corners with a triangle either. I think because it's a round bar twist, forging sharp, crisp corners on some of these things just might not look right. It's worth trying in your shop if you want to, but for this I'm just going to make it obviously triangular, and for that I'm going to go over to the swedge block. Well, the big swedge block's got the right shape, and I'm going to have to find a different hammer because my other hammers are going to hit the top here. I think this hammer will just barely get down in there. Good news is this block is much more solid. Bad news is it's a lot of work to turn. So this will be considerably washed out, but again, it's a test piece and it will give us the general idea of if we're barking up the right tree or not. One full turn and 1.5 full turns. That's another one I really kind of like with the highly rounded corners on it. Well, let's try one more of the ideas that somebody suggested. And this one didn't get a lot of suggestions. May have only been one, and I think my interpretation is actually different than what they suggested. But when they suggested it, this is what I saw, so I want to try it, and that's what we're going to do. And that is to put some little squishes on the sides, or in a single plane, I should say, from both sides of the bar. Round bars don't really have sides, so it's confusing. Anyways, we're going to use a ball tool under the fly press, put a series of little depressions, and then we're going to twist the bar. So here are the tools we're going to use under the fly press. It's just 2 big ball bearings top and 2 big ball bearings on the bottom. And hopefully that will give us an interesting pattern that will look very interesting when twisted. But we will find out. Now we can make these little squishes as deep as we want. I need to leave a spot on the end. I think I'm going to just let this bottom out each time. I'm leaving a spot on the end to get the twisting wrench on. So as soon as I feel those ball bearings touch on the bottom, a little bit smaller set of tools would be better for this size bar. Then we might be able to squish it all the way down into little points. And I know most of you don't have a fly press to try this, so this is just me screwing around. I don't think it hurts to kind of go both directions here. This is coming out very symmetrical. I was thinking of more of a sideways squish, but it's coming out kind of a square pattern. So that's kind of an interesting look just all on its own. One full twist and 1.5, just like everything else. It's another very interesting appearance. This one's quite bizarre. So here are our 2 twists from the other day, and here are 3 that we did today with 3 chisel lines forged into a triangle and squished with the round bars, or round balls. Well, that's some pretty interesting stuff. I appreciate the suggestions. There were enough suggestions on the first video that we will do this again, but probably not right away. There were several that I believe would require some kind of top and bottom tooling, sort of like what we had for the fly press, except I already had those tools from something else, and I don't remember what I did with them before. But something similar probably in square bar. And since I had them, we used them. But there are some rope twists and other interesting things you can do that will require some specialized tooling, and they may have to be done under a press or the power hammer, so they may not be suitable for the small shop, but I think we'll find them interesting. And then there's the modified Rubik's Cube twist and a few other things that people suggested, so we'll do several more of these sometime in the not too distant future. But for now, I think we'll move on to another look at another style of project in the next video. I hope the round bar twist inspires you to go out and try to twist some of your own round bar. Just try different things, do different techniques, and then drill a hole in one end, hang them all on nails in the shop where you can find them again. So if you ever need to remember what you did, you got the samples. These are worth keeping. I've got lots of this stuff hanging on the wall. Makes your shop look better too. So I hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up. Love it if you hit the subscribe button. Stick around, watch a few other videos. Share the videos with your friends if you'd like to. But do make time in your day to get out to the shop. Experiment with new ideas. Experiment with new techniques. Challenge your imagination. But do make something, and do stay safe. Also, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you later.